So Elizabeth Warren has come out with a plan to supposedly curb disinformation being posted or shared on social media, and basically it's an attack on free speech, and it's very troubling, but not that surprising coming from Elizabeth Warren, unfortunately. So this is her tweet. Disinformation and online foreign interference erode our democracy, and Donald Trump has divided both. Anyone who seeks to challenge and defeat Donald Trump in the 2020 election must be fully prepared to take this on, and I've got a plan to do it. She's got a plan for everything. You know what erodes our democracy? By trying to curb people's free speech online, and that's what you're trying to do, and that's just shady and horribly misguided and wrong. Excuse me. In the 2016 election, we saw how digital disinformation was used to influence and surpass voters, or suppress, I should say. But 4 years later, we're hardly any better prepared for it. Donald Trump has welcomed foreign interference in our elections, and if he isn't removed from office, he'll continue to do so. And I don't know what exact foreign interference Donald Trump has welcomed, and obviously there's been no proof whatsoever that there's any type of collusion between Donald Trump and Russia or Putin that influenced the election. These are the same tropes that Hillary Clinton shills keep talking about, and Hillary herself, instead of taking any type of responsibility, how she could have lost to the reality game show host buffoon. Maybe take a look in the mirror why you lost instead of trying to blame it on the Russian boogeyman. Anyone who seeks to challenge and defeat Donald Trump must be prepared to take on the full array of disinformation that foreign actors and people in and around his campaign used to divide Democrats, suppress Democratic voters, and erode the standing of the Democratic nominee. So today, I'm making a pledge. I will not knowingly use or spread disinformation to benefit my own candidacy or to damage others, and I will fight disinformation aimed at my campaign, my opponents, and my voters. So that brings up kind of an interesting question to me. So does that mean before this, Elizabeth Warren was spreading disinformation? How about not too recently, she was accusing Bernie Sanders of being a sexist and a misogynist. Or how about when Elizabeth Warren was claiming that she had Native American ancestry, even though she didn't? She lied about her children not attending private school when one of them did. She's waffled on her support for Medicare for all. So from my perspective, Elizabeth Warren has a pretty clear track record of spreading and propagating disinformation in pretty overt ways. And then so how does it make sense to have the government step in to force these tech companies to limit people's free speech when that's obviously going to be dictated by whoever's in power? So if a Democrat's in power, they're going to want to censor the speech of right-wing or conservative pages or people's platforms or whatnot, and then vice versa. For Republican or conservatives in power, they're going to want to center the left-leaning or the progressive sites and platforms. And this is horrible. This is just like the Ministry of Information in like an Orwell novel or something like that, where the government becomes the arbiter of what is considered truth and what is considered fact and what is considered falsehoods and disinformation. And it's not what social media and these platforms are about. It's about everybody having access to these platforms, being able to share their ideas, and if you have a different position, you can argue on the merits, make your claims, and use some evidence to support that. And Elizabeth Warren wants to take that all away and have it be some curated space where the government has to come in and tell these tech companies, how to basically censor people's ability to share information online. And that's honestly one of the greatest things about social media, is that if once you have access to it, you're able to interact and share and engage with people and ideas from all over the world, and that's super powerful. And if we try to censor that, we take away one of the great things of social media and the internet, is just the free exchange of ideas. And Elizabeth Warren wants to censor that, and that's very troubling, and it shows that she has this really authoritarian streak. And just another reason not to support her. Bernie, again, is the only choice. I'm sending a clear message to anyone associated with the Warren campaign. I will not tolerate the use of false information or false accounts to attack my opponents, promote my campaign, or undermine our elections, and I urge my fellow Democrats to do the same. I'm also calling on tech companies like Facebook, Twitter, and Google to take real steps right now to fight disinformation spread on their platforms. The safety of our democracy is more important than shareholder dividends and CEO salaries. Campaigns and tech companies can take a number of steps to slow the spread of disinformation right now, and as president, I'll take a series of actions to further address the spread of disinformation. So, unless you want somebody as president who wants to install these authoritarian rules and policies with who can share what on social media, then you probably shouldn't be supporting Elizabeth Warren. It's just so crazy. How does she think this was going to play out? Who actually thinks this is a good idea, or that a plurality of the voters would support censoring the internet, censoring people's ability to interact and share information and ideas on platforms like Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and all the other ones? She wants to limit the range of discourse, and that would be decided by some government bureaucrat or something like that. And again, it would be dependent upon who's in office, and then it would be just what a big mess. And just ridiculous on its face. We don't need any more censorship. The only things that really shouldn't be allowed on these social media platforms are hate speech or threats of violence. And obviously hate speech, how do you define that? I mean, and then the threats of violence, maybe that's a little bit more concrete. But besides that, people should be able to share whatever views and opinions that they want. And Elizabeth Warren isn't for that, and that's again hugely troubling and disturbing, that she wants to basically take away people's ability to their First Amendment right to free speech. And that's obviously super messed up. And the stakes of this election are too high. We need to fight the spread of false information and that disempowers voters and undermines democracy. I'll do my part, and I'm calling on my fellow candidates and big tech companies to do their part too. And she was just getting wrecked in the comments. And the average person just sees this again as an attack on people being able to share freely on social media, an attack on their First Amendment right. And I totally agree with that. And so she was just getting destroyed in the comments here. So what's the penalty for you spreading disinformation all those years about being a Native American? Mark Dice said. Today on the First Amendment explicitly blocks such a move. Are you even trying? I doubt the ability of authorities to tell the difference between sophisticated satire and deliberate misinformation, especially when authorities have a cynical interest in conflating the two. That said, I'm willing to be a martyr for my art. Yeah, again, I don't have any trust in government or the governmental organizations or bureaucrats, whoever would be overseeing this censorship of these social media platforms. Again, it would be, dictated by the political climate at the time. And it's just a horrible horrible idea. And then this person says, Liz has a plan for this, and that's when she was claiming that she had Native American ancestry when she didn't. Elizabeth Warren deletes infamous year-old Native American DNA tweet. She has a plan for that, and that was from It's Always Sunny. Pretty good show. And then saying that she's a two-headed snake.
Oh.
And then again, yeah, she had claimed that, I guess, at a certain job she was fired for being pregnant. And then Bernie is my friend, her head on a snake's body, because obviously she would basically stab Bernie in the back. Hasn't stood up for him, wasn't even willing to say that he had any friends in the Senate or got anything accomplished, and then accused him of being a sexist and a misogynist. And then boom. How can censorship and free speech exist at the same time? They can't. It's a fair point, and that's what she is trying to take away. And it's just another disqualifier for supporting Elizabeth Warren. Again, she doesn't support Medicare for all. She's waffled on that. She doesn't support canceling all student loan debt. She's now for censoring the internet, and I just don't trust her like I trust Bernie Sanders to implement and follow through with a policy platform and agenda that will benefit the working people of the United States. And this is just another example of why we need to do everything we can to make sure Bernie is the Democratic nominee. But what do you think? What do you think of Elizabeth Warren's plan to try to limit disinformation on the internet? To me, it's just an attack on free speech, and we need to fight back against these efforts as much as we can.
Also, guys, if you get us over 160, we will jump in the ocean at my birthday trip. Peace.